Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and fix this guitar. I actually have the Flying V as well, and I'm going to fix both. So I'm going to basically just show this part from now on, okay? Alright, so I got the soldering iron here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this rest. So it's just going to be a quick job, real quick. So what we're going to do is, I bought this solder here, which is lead free, because you want to, you don't want to breathe this crap in, obviously, because lead is obviously, not good. So what I've done is that I've bought this lead free solder, and then that's all it is. So we're just going to feed it. We're going to wait till this thing heats up. I'm going to open this up, and then also do the same thing with the Flying V. The Flying V has a grounding issue. So one of the key things with the solder is that as you sort of melt the solder, right, it's going to produce fumes, and you don't want to breathe that shit in. I remember in high school, I was taking an electronics class. That's how I became an electrical engineer. Is that, I took like electronics in high school for like 2 years. So funny thing happened there is, like, we'd have projects and stuff like that, and a capacitor exploded, and this guy just sat there and he just breathed in the fumes. So my teacher was like, why are you just sitting there breathing in the fumes for? Because it was a cylindrical capacitor that blew its top. So sometimes what happens is that if you flip the polarity, or if you send too much power into it, so basically, it kind of blew up like a soda pop, and then it was just like this steam of just going psh for like 5 seconds, and this dude is just sitting there breathing it all in. Show you how this actually happened. So what happens is that if you're a guitar player, you know that this nut always comes kind of loose, right? So what happened is that if you tighten it too much like this, it basically ripped the wire off right here. So this wire just needs to go right there. And I'm just going to put this wire right here just needs to go right there. So I'm just going to put a little spot weld on there real quick. It's kind of like a weld. Sorry, this is the first time I'm using this in a long time. Even in EE, we never used this. Last time I used this was like in high school. We didn't use this in EE because EE, it's mostly just like discrete components that you put in a breadboard, and then you play around with it like that. Or I can't remember, did we use it? Maybe for your final project, I think, to put it together, maybe we used it, or maybe we used the breadboard, I'm not sure. But I'm going to give it just a little bit to just basically just warm up. All right, I'll test it a little bit. All right, there we go. And like I said, you don't want to be breathing this crap in. I want to do this as quick as possible. So I remember how to do this. The way to do this is to get a little bit on here, and then it just becomes hot, and then you just kind of work with it and just drip it on there. Just let it set. I think that should be good. Gotta put the car back on here. Oh, you know what? I better turn on the Marshal amp, because we're going to be testing the Jackson as well. I just want to do this in one setting. I don't want to do all this again. So next we're going to be doing the Flying V. The Flying V, however, has a grounding issue. that should be it. So this guitar is fixed. Like I said, just don't turn it too much. Because what happened is that it actually pulled the wire out of the harness. Alright, so this is the bigger issue. Now, this came like this when I bought it. It already had a grounding issue. But it's the same thing as that there's a wire that's actually soldered to the back of the pots. Actually, I only have one thing holding on here. Because it's like stuck on there. There it is. Alright. So we got that up. Again, here I use the copper tape for grounding, so I'm going to get rid of all that copper tape first. And then I sort of remember where it went before, so I'm just going to... So the reason why people use this copper tape is they use it for shielding. Especially the Strat guys. Strat guys use it for shielding because if you've got a humbucker, the very definition of that is that it bucks the hum, because a single coil will basically hum like a motherfucker. So what you want to do on the other side for a Strat is that put this copper tape, which is adhesive, so that it's kind of like actually like a shield. So you can tell right here, this is what happened to this. Whoops, sorry. This is what happened to this. This is supposed to go right on that pot right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a pot right there. It's actually welded in the back of a pot. So it's kind of a bad design. So it's grounded to the back of the pot. So I'm just going to basically apply heat to the solder that's already there and then just touch it, and then that'll just hold on. That's pretty much it right there. Be careful that you don't burn your hands here. This shit's supposed to be lead free, but it smells just the same. Have the window open, try not to breathe this crap in. That should be it right there. So I'm just going to put it back on. This is the issue that's been bugging me for so long. So hopefully this is fixed. And like I said, this is a bigger issue because it's a grounding. And it's actually bad design to put a tack weld on the back of a pot, because it might not be clean, it might not stick well. So there was already some on there, so I just melted it and I put it in place and I melted the whole thing. Alright, we should be in business here, guys. I'm just going to let that cool off. Turn this off. Okay, so let's test it out. Seems like it's working. So let's test out the flying V. works. Thank you guys. So just putting on that. So the problem with this was the grounding issue, and the problem with that was just the loose wire. Okay.